we close the book of lamentation and open the book of Acts. It is time for action that will put an end to the injustices, the oppression, and the impunity in our beautiful country, Uganda. Countrymen and women, I come before you not as the most qualified, not as the most experienced, but I come before you as the most committed to lead this liberation.
Olwaleero ennaku z'omwezi 3 omwezi ogwa Novemba omwaka 2023 zaali ennaku z'omwezi nga 3 omwezi gwe gumu Novemba omwaka 2020. His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu bwe yali ekyambogo ng'asoma manifesto ye bwe yali ng'agenza okwewandiisa okubeera nga akakasa nti agenda kwesimbawo ku ntebe y'obwa pulezidenti. Yasoma manifesto ye ng'abuulira bannayuganda biki byateekateeka okukola mu gavumenti ye singa anaabeera akutta obuyinza. Ebigambo bino by'owulira yabyogeranga ennaku z'omwezi 3 Novemba omwaka 2020. Olwaleero giweredde ddala emyaka 3 beddu nga kitegeeza nti asazeewo olwaleero okulonkinga ofiisi ze ez'ekibiina ki National Unity Platform. Kitegeeza oluvannyuma lw'emyaka 3 achievement z'NUP zeetuuseeko zeezo ofiisi zagenda okuggulawo olunaku olwaleero. Mu manifesto ye gye yasoma olunaku olwo yasuubiza nti bw'anaaba akutte obuyinza ebintu ebimu bye yayogerako okukyusa mu ggwanga Uganda ng'asaba nti mu myaka 5 gyokka eggwanga lijja kuba likakasa nti ddala enkyukakyuka weeri. Lijja kuba liraba nti ebintu ebimu ebyasuubiziddwa Kyagulanyi Ssentamu era bituusiddwako engalo kubanga yakakasa nti kyeyamye okukola akiteeka mu nkola. Okwawukanako ne bano abali mu buyinza myaka kati 38 nga tebalina kibalagawo, ye Kyagulanyi Ssentamu yasuubiza bannayuganda nti olunakwata obuyinza bagenda kutandikirawo okulaba ku nkyukakyuka ey'ebyo by'anaaba yeeyamye okukolako. Kati kino kikuwa ekyokuyiga bwe tulaba ofiisi z'NUP nga zitudde kikulaga bulazi nti myaka 3 azimba ofiisi z'NUP kyokka ng'ebibiina by'ebyobufuzi bingi ebigundidde bitutte emyaka n'emyaka tebalina ofiisi ze balagawo. Ofiisi zimwe bakolera emirimu gyabwe abasinga obungi bakyali mbupangisa. Kyagulanyi Ssentamu y'emyaka 3 ataddewo kalina gali kwoleka buli muntu kwakomya amaaso n'atendereza nti wammwe NUP mulina ssente. Naye ekyo tekitegeeza kubeera na ssente wabula kibeera kitegeeza obwesigwa bw'olina mu bantu. Kiba kitegeeza obukozi. Kiraga nti Kyagulanyi Ssentamu musajja mukozi era NUP bw'eneeba ekutta obuyinza tugenda kusuubira okulaba ku Uganda empya ng'ekulukuta amata n'omubisi gw'enjuki kubanga waba asuubiza okukola ekintu ateekerawo mu nkola. Ezo ofiisi yakasuubiza bannakibiina kya NUP nti tuguze ettaka naye mutuweeyo akaseera tuzimbeko ofiisi zino naffe tumanye nti tulina ekitebe kyaffe ekijja we tutuula nga kyaffe kubanga ojjukira nti ettaka ly'ekamwokya lirye ng'omuntu. Naye wano batadde ofiisi zino wa National Unity Platform ne bw'aliba yavuddewo wabula abajja n'abaliddawo baliba batuulawo nga bamanya nti kyekino ekitebe kyaffe kyazimbibwa ku musingi gw'omuntu wa wansi, ku musingi gwa munnankyukakyuka. Kakati awo Kyagulanyi Ssentamu akulaga nti ajja kuba musajja nnyo era ebyo ebintu by'owulira byakusomera mu manifesto ye byeyogerako kikulaga nti bw'anaakwata obuyinza bigenda kubeera nga biteekebwa mu nkola nga bwe yabisuubiza.
Those that have been excluded from a system which works only for a few and of course sitting and stepping on the necks of the many. I am representing the overtaxed business people. I'm representing the parents that have sold all their land to take their children to school and now their children cannot find jobs. I am representing the border riders who are persecuted every day after being made to pay large sums of money. I am representing those wives and mothers that cannot afford maternal health. I am representing the business person who borrows money at high rates and cannot figure out how to pay it. I'm representing the local suppliers who were kicked out of government tenders simply because they don't know anybody in government. I am representing poor Ugandans who have lost land to the powerful land grabbers and many of them are in government. Yes, those who cannot get justice because justice under Museveni is for sale. I am representing the poor soldiers, the police officers who are so oppressed, yet they are commanded to beat and kill citizens who they are supposed to protect simply because they must appease the rich. Those rich and the mighty are the ones we are standing against. In this election, gentlemen and ladies, I am representing the hardworking people of Usoga that have been deliberately kept poor by the NRM regime. I am representing the great people of Acholi, whose land is being stolen in broad daylight by the regime and its cooperatives. I am representing the people of Lango, who have been deliberately marginalized and disempowered for the past 3 decades. They have been deliberately marginalized and squeezed. I am representing the impoverished people of Karamoja, who are kept under the barrel of the gun while their gold, their copper, their cobalt and iron ores are stolen away by the rich and mighty. I am representing the people of Unyoro, who live and grow cheap crops on the oil that is theirs. Yes, their oil has been kept in the dark because they are looked at as they don't have a right to know what is happening in their land. I am representing the people of Bugisu, whose past glory has been shattered by the present regime. Their cooperatives, which kept them rich and productive, were destroyed by the regime. I am representing the people of Chigezi, who work so hard to earn little. I am representing the people of Bukedi, who have been turned into beggars on their own land. Representing the people of Uganda, whose land has been grabbed and they are left poor. They are made beggars. They are made slaves on the land of their grandfathers. I am representing all the people of Uganda, ladies and gentlemen. Representing the people of Toro, the people of Rwenzori, who live in constant fear because of the brutal regime. Those who are battered in 2018, whose wounds are still fresh in the minds. I represent them. I represent the youth who are very hardworking and yet they have no way to break through the yoke of oppression. The youth that work so hard but don't have the means of production. They don't have no land, they don't have no capital, and they have limited or no opportunities. These are the people I am representing. I am representing this section, the vast majority who are oppressed, yearning for freedom. I'm representing the journalists who cannot even peacefully practice their work without being harassed and beaten by the regime. I am representing the health workers who are paid peanuts for doing incredible work. I am representing my mother, who was a nurse, who had 10 children and who died a miserable life because when she got an accident and put in Molago casualty, she had to stay there an hour in a hospital she served for more than 20 years. I am here to speak for her, even though she cannot speak no more. These are the people that I'm representing. Fellow Ugandans, I present myself to you as a servant, not as a boss. While our detailed plan of action towards our new Uganda will be presented to you through our manifesto, allow me very briefly, because we don't have time, to state just a few things that we will run based on. Most importantly, I want you the people of Uganda, to know that we are going to run a people-centered government which focuses on these areas. Our agenda, first and foremost, is freedom. We want to ensure that all Ugandans, regardless of who they are, of where they come from, are free in their country. All Ugandans must enjoy the freedom of expression, the freedom of conscience, the freedom to disagree with those in power, the freedom to assemble peacefully, and yes, the freedom to worship, and all other freedoms which have been, of course, taken away by the regime. So number one, I intend to increase the pay of the security forces. Let me say that again. I intend to increase the pay of our security forces. The pay of our soldiers, police officers, and prison officers is so miserable. It must be improved. If I become president, we'll have the privilege to know what the classified budget really does. Such a huge amount of money will be used to improve the pay of our security forces so that they can live a better life. When I'm president, the lowest paid soldier or police officer will be earning 1 million shillings. Let me say it again. When I am president, the lowest earning police officer or soldier or prison officer will be earning 1 million shillings. I will improve their housing and health care. Low-ranking and middle-ranking officers must be entitled to free quality health care as the high-ranking officers. Our government will find opportunities for the spouses of the soldiers and police officers to ensure that they are each contributing to the livelihood of their families. I also intend to streamline the promotion criteria in the armed forces and of course in the police, which will be based on merit and not technical know-how. Never again will soldiers be forced to join the police. I say this again. Never again will soldiers be forced to become police officers like we see today, because they had the option of joining the police, but they decided to join the army. In our plan, the better option is not to recruit from the police, from the army to the police, but instead to improve and empower the police so that they can become better and operate better. The children of the soldiers and the police officers will be entitled to free education up to university. There is no greater sacrifice, ladies and gentlemen, than serving in uniform. And it will be our deliberate plan to ensure that our men and women in uniform in dignity. I firmly believe if we do this, I strongly believe that if we do this, then our armed men and women in uniform will have respect for the citizens. In a new Uganda, there will be mutual love and respect between those in uniform and the ordinary citizen of Uganda. When I become president, we shall introduce a contract arrangement for the security officers. In other countries, one can serve in the military, and after some time, they resign when they are still young. And of course, they resign with a better retirement package. But today, they are all tied. Even when they want to resign, they cannot. One should be proud to serve in the military or in the police and resign. So we shall make it on contract, so that we make that job so nice for you to work. Number 2, in the new Uganda, there will be access to affordable quality health care for all Ugandans, and this will be priority in terms of budgetary allocations. Effective supervision, of course, will be there, but health can be fixed. I'm not here to preach as a professor or a very experienced person in the health sector, but I want to tell you, only following the Abuja Declaration of raising the budgetary allocation to 15% of the national budget, we are going to have a perfect healthcare system. And yes, we will do it. Number 3, education. We all know that education is what paves way for a new. Maybe if I did not get the rare opportunity to education, I would still be in. But now that I'm here, it has to work for everybody. It has to be transformation for every ghetto youth. I've told you before about our education, and I will emphasize that we'll have the 4 A's that we'll focus on in our education. And empower the academics, we will arts, we will empower the athletics, and of course, we shall empower agriculture. We shall deal with unemployment, and of course have a whole lot of job creation. I might not have proceeded on that, but I can guarantee you that by 2025, I've created million jobs, and I signed because I will be president. Number 5, agriculture. Well, agriculture remains the backbone of our economy. And even if it is being disrespected and given no attention, our government intends to zone this country and ensure that each zone has a cash crop and a food crop. Friends, this is not rocket science. It is not going to begin with my presidency. It has been done before. It is a question of waking it up. When I was growing up, every region of this country had a cash crop and a food crop. We don't have that anymore. Why? Because the regime has different priorities, among which, or number 1 of which, is retaining power. But when I'm president, you are going to see that with your own eyes. And yes, we shall ensure access to proper input and promote good agricultural practices, and of course, value addition. We shall revamp coffee production, because when I was growing up, coffee production is what put us on the world map. I can guarantee you that our government will ensure that by 2025, Uganda exports 50 million bags of coffee. 50 million. And I sign because I will be president. Science and technology. I cannot talk so much about this, friends. Many of you are members of my generation, and you know how this is going to revamp our country. Our government will focus on promotion of science and technology as a catalyst for economic growth and development. This is going to be done through allocation of funds to schools that are specifically majoring in that. And of course, we shall establish innovation hubs in every sub-region of Uganda. Our school-going children should receive world-class ICT because I believe that we Ugandans, we are first world brains stuck in a third world country. And yes, Uganda is not a third world country. It is only our leaders that are third world leaders. Now, you got a first world leader. Let's go for that. Number 7, access to water and electricity. Friends, the vast majority of Ugandans have no access to clean water. But our government is going to ensure that every household in Uganda has access to clean water. In terms of power supply, we shall ensure that more households are connected to the power grid. However, we shall also pursue a deliberate policy of ensuring that households in rural areas have access to solar power. This can be done, and this will be done. Fellow Ugandans, there are many other things that we plan to do for this nation, some of which are put in our manifesto. This regime has destroyed many dreams of Ugandans. But today, I want to say to you, please dare to dream again. Please dare to hope again. Friends, dare to believe again. Our nation has been reduced into a laughing stock among nations. But once again, we shall rise to be the true Pearl of Africa that we have been known for. Nothing can defeat people united, especially if we are united by conviction. A people united can never be defeated. A people united can never be defeated. A people united can never be defeated. A people united can never be defeated.